first question, if that's cool with y'all.
Okay.
Yeah. That works.
I don't know like how to like start this.
I don't either.
Okay. So the first question I created was, it's kind of like a three-parter. What were the three digital media types like discussed, and like where can we find each media type?
I know it was paid media, owned media, and earned media.
Yeah.
I guess paid media would be like Google sponsored posts or website ads, and then owned media is like brand websites, email marketing, the company owns and controls it. And then earned media is like the word of mouth buzz. Whoops, going viral.
You're good. And then I asked, which one is the most prominent like nowadays, and then which one do you feel like appeals to you the most?
I guess I would say, oh, sorry, someone else could go.
Okay, sorry. I was going to say, I guess paid media is something that is really like relevant right now, and at least like personally, that's what I think I am exposed to the most, because like I wake up and I'm on my phone, I get like Facebook ads or like on Snapchat, TikTok, like all these sponsored ads, or Instagram. So I guess paid media for me personally.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that the earned media is something that is really important like now and like in the future, because that's something that really ties closely to the brand as a whole. So like if somebody says something bad about your company or something goes viral for the wrong reasons, it can really negatively impact your brand. I know like one of my classes, I am a marketing major, so I took digital marketing a couple semesters ago, and we talked about like the United Airlines, I think, like they lost some guy's guitar and he tried to like get it back, and they were like, oh, sorry, like that's your problem. And then he wrote a song about it and it went viral. And so basically people were like, oh, that's awful. Like people didn't want to use United Airlines because of that reason. Just one bad customer experience with the guy, and then it went viral for like a negative reason.
That's crazy. Do y'all remember? I can't remember if it was United or American, but it was that mom, dad, and their child. And it was like during the pandemic, and like kids typically don't need to wear masks if they're like below a certain age. And their daughter like did not want to keep her mask on, and they literally kicked them off the flight. Do y'all remember that? It like went viral.
I don't
think I saw that one.
It was so sad. The mom was like crying, and it was like a baby, and they kicked them off of the flight because their child would not keep their mask on. And I was like, that's really sad. I mean, I agree with you 110%. Little things like that can like ruin a business.
Yeah.
Let me see what I have. Okay, so after first question I had, let's go on to the course bridge builder and like what y'all discussed, and we could kind of discuss what y'all found.
Yeah. Do you want me to just like start with one and then we can discuss and then do the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing that I noticed, I wasn't sure like the best way to like build bridges between courses. But I figured it would be pretty easy. Like I said, I was like, I've taken digital marketing and stuff. But the first thing I noticed is that in like the very beginning of the chapter, it talks about like how data is really important for digital marketing. So I kind of was saying that because of like the movement to digital and technology, like you need data basically to make decisions. And so like let's see. Okay, yeah. So like for marketing research, you have to have like census data and customer demographic data in order to like narrow down your hypothesis and stuff. And then also like with digital marketing, you have to have data from a consumer, like maybe it's Facebook or something, like you have to have some data about them so that you can serve them advertisements that work. So like Christie was saying, like I get on Facebook and I see ads, like the ads that they're serving you are based off of the data that they're collecting about you, whether you visited that website or visited something similar. So it's really the center of digital marketing. And if you want to enhance like the omni-channel marketing, you have to have that user data from different touch points. And it's also better, like personalizes everything. And then also I am an MIS major as well, and like learning about different technologies like the Internet of Things, which is a game changer in the way you can collect data, because you can have like your refrigerator that's collecting data about what kind of food you like in your fridge that can serve you advertisements and things like that. So the interconnectivity between like the things that you own and like the social media accounts that you have and all that sort of stuff is what's basically driving digital marketing and easier customization to make it more personal, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Wow. So you're a double major?
Yeah, I major in marketing and MIS and then minor in merchandising.
You go.
Wow.
Wow, you go, girl.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing. Okay. So number 2, I said, do you remember in the book it had that quote that said to deliver the right message to the right audience at the right time? Like kind of at the beginning. Do you remember? Kind of like, let me go find it because I don't want to like, if my questions ever confuse y'all, please don't hesitate to like tell me. Like on this first little, like the very first page at the bottom, it says the original promise of digital channels we described 4 years ago to deliver the right message to the right audience at the right time. Okay, so then like my question, I said, why has it become difficult to deliver the right message to the right audience at the right time? And then I said, does social media have an effect on this? And if you want me to go to a different one, I can. It's fine. Up to y'all.
I guess, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's maybe hard to know if you deliver something at the right time until you do it. I don't know. I think some companies have made mistakes with that in the past.
Yeah, for sure.
I think like digital marketing has helped that, because like in the past, like, or like the more traditional marketing efforts are like, let me send you a catalog with all this stuff, or like, let me send you stuff in the mail. And it's not really that effective. It's like mass, like you're sending it out to all these people. But because it's like cheap and it's not going to like really hurt you if the person that gets it doesn't really care. But the digital marketing is easier to pinpoint specific like market segments and specific people to target them and personalize what you're sending them to have a better retention rate in the end.
Yeah, I completely agree. The only thing I would say, I guess, that's like made it difficult, I guess social media in a sense, because we do have so many different like target markets nowadays and so many different age groups. And so like, you know, some people don't like love social media, some people do, but only specific platforms. So I guess like if you're trying to use like one platform to target an audience that doesn't like that platform, then I guess it like isn't really effective. So I kind of guess, because I know in the book they were saying like it's kind of become more difficult, and I also kind of was like, well, how? But I guess, you know, it makes sense like when you have such a vast group of people. Do y'all want to go on? Do y'all want to do question 3, or do you want to do like another bridge? Really up to y'all. I want to like do what y'all want to do as well.
Should we like alternate the bridges? So like maybe we do.
So maybe
so
maybe the outside bridge builder.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do. That was Claire, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Claire, go girl.
Okay, so what I did is I kind of looked at what companies are doing now with their digital technology and like getting consumer data. So I guess something that I thought was interesting was that in the future there's going to be like people are coming out with eye tracking technology. And so I found like a Forbes article, and that's technologies that will make it possible for you to look at ads, or wait, sorry. Or it's like basically like you, the company sees what ads you're attracted to with your eyes and like what you look at and what you're not looking at.
Yeah.
And so I guess, well, something that did come up or like has been on the market that's similar to that is that Samsung had a phone, the Samsung Galaxy S4, I guess. They came out with Smart Scroll and Smart Pause, which are features that allow you to like somewhat move the screen up and down with your eyes and pause videos. But overall, like the eye tracking technology is like years away from being mainstream. And then there were there's like different companies that have come out with stuff. Like a company called Tobii came out with a small USB connected bar that will enable you to control your desktop with your eyes. It can perform like facial recognition on shoppers to figure out how they react to different products, and determine which like demographic groups they belong to. There's also another thing that came out, or it's being developed, called Sideways, which just works on any like ordinary computer, and you don't have to calibrate it to each user, so you can measure like multiple people at once. So you could have like 14 people of like different heights, ages, eye color, and who interact with it, and you can track what they're looking at, what they're not. But there is a downside people are saying to this eye tracking. They're saying that it could possibly reveal certain disorders like of people through just looking at their eyes. So like the use of like drugs, alcohol, psychological illness, sexual orientation. But it's not confirmed that you would be able to like see those things, but you could. So so people are like, that's kind of invading privacy. But the justification that these companies are making for eye tracking, they're like, when you like walk down the street, your face is visible to everyone. And so they're saying like, does the same reasoning apply to eye movements? So I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting.
That's really interesting and really cool. And kind of scary in a way that they can.
I know.
So much from that.
Yeah.
My third question is, how do y'all feel about companies tracking consumer activity in every move we make on social media? And then I also said you can give like personal examples.
I think it's definitely effective, but it throws me off sometimes. For example, like I was eating dinner with my family one time, and then my sister and I were talking about Halo Top ice cream, and then like 5 minutes later, my dad was on his phone on Facebook, and he got like Halo ice cream ads, and he's like, I definitely do not search up like ice cream on my phone. So like example like that. But an example of how like it worked is like there were these pair of shoes that I wanted for sale, on these Nike shoes, and then like I've been checking on like Urban Outfitters like every day and stuff, and then I started getting ads of like the shoe obviously, and then like of clothing brands of their ads, like it's like sweat sets or something of them wearing the shoe. So like I was seeing it everywhere. I was like, how do they know? This is so weird. And I'm like, this is a sign, like I need to get it. But every time I look at it, I'm like, ah. So I mean, it definitely worked, but it's just weird. Like every day I'm like seeing ads on them. Like, would they really know?
Yeah, it's creepy. Like they're literally listening to our conversations.
Yeah.
Wild. I remember I was on TikTok, and there was this girl, and I guess she wanted her boyfriend to like propose to her, and she grabbed his phone and she was like, engagement rings, and like popping up on his phone, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's freaking wild. Do y'all have any other like personal experiences with that?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had like talking about something. Like I remember I was sitting with my dad and he was telling me about this brand of shoe that he bought my stepmom for Christmas. And then not even I get on Facebook and there's the ad for the shoe that I've never heard of in my entire life popping
Yep.
up on Facebook. I was like, okay, that's a little weird. Like I don't really want this ad. And I'm like, okay, so if you have the technology to listen to me and serve me ads, like you should also have the technology to understand that I'm actually not the one interested in the shoe.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of weird. Like none of our conversations are even private anymore. And it's really, really scary.
Yeah,
I don't even know how to feel about it.
I know, same.
When I have conversations, I kind of just want to like, put my phone in another room now. So Facebook's like not listening to me.
Facebook is probably the worst.
Oh yeah.
You can like, I remember in my digital marketing class, we looked at like a list of all of the information that Facebook can gather about you. And it's really, really scary. It's like political affiliation, religion, income, education, like all this stuff. And I was like, okay,
Oh,
I mean,
my.
like, yes, I put that I attend Baylor on my Facebook, but I don't put like all of the rest of the information on there.
Yeah.
So, like the fact that they can track that just based off of like what I engage with is really weird.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so creepy. Good Lord. Claire, did you have an example?
I can't think of anything off of the top of my head, but I'm sure something has happened. I just can't think of anything.
Yeah.
recent.
Okay. Kylie, do you want to do another bridge builder?
Yeah, sure. So we talked like a little bit at the beginning about like the paid and earned media and stuff. So I was like looking in the book that we have, it didn't really talk much about earned media. And I feel like in my other marketing classes, like we've talked like earned media is a bigger thing, just because of the importance of it. And I was also kind of talking in my marketing capstone class, we were talking about how employees, like you need to manage your employees in order to have like a better brand overall. So I was like trying to connect to the fact that like earned media and your employee like management is like kind of linked in some way, because nowadays people are, the things that people say online are 9 times out of 10 about the customer service and not the actual like product. Because sometimes if it's about the product, then like they can fix that for you, like, oh, we'll just take a return or like send you back a payment or something. But if it's about the customer service and like the employees themselves, it really has a negative impact on the brand. So like strong employee recruitment, employee engagement, employee encouragement, and retention are critical for being able to generate earned media, because without it, like the earned media that you're getting isn't going to be like as long lasting from like a video on TikTok that goes viral. That'll be a short-term effect, but like the employees that you have will be a more long-term effect. Like if you think of like Chick-fil-A, I mean, nobody ever has a bad experience going through the Chick-fil-A line because their customer service is so on point, and that's something that has like stuck with their brand for longer than maybe like, I don't know, something else that may have gone viral from Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. Right. No, they have such a positive brand image. I love it. I've never had a single bad experience, and their employees are all so pleasant. Like they're so kind.
I love Chick-fil-A.
Let me think. At my hair salon, actually. So they're amazing. Like they're the nicest people ever, and like just do their job to the nines. And this mom like left just a really nasty review and just saying like they were so mean and la. And like they didn't even do anything wrong. And so they called the lady and they were like, what did we do? Like, please tell us, like, what did we do? And she didn't even have an answer for them. And so I'm like, just one little like review on Yelp can completely destroy a business. So yeah, I completely agree with you on that 100%.
I feel like when you were talking about that, I feel like the biggest example I have is like branding Melville. Like how bad their image is, I guess, even though like people still shop there, but like it's just funny because like now it's almost like a trend. Like on TikTok there was a trend where like branding employees were like exposing their stores and stuff. And like I feel like the fact that was like a trend was like pretty bad, or like people just have stereotypes about like people that work there. And like I mean their social media platform too, I feel like they just have such a like negative image as of now. I think they're trying to improve, but like it's just kind of like built in, and then like everyone knows about it. So
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see. My question 4, it says, in what companies / markets do we see a lot of competitive intelligence? And then I said, how has it made companies more successful?
Well, I know for the Alexas, like Amazon has the Alexas, and I know they because for one of my I guess bridges, I did it on Amazon.
Yeah.
And they said that like the Alexas can save your like audio recordings. And it's like, I don't know, I thought that was interesting. It's uploaded to like Amazon's server.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's connected to Amazon, and it knows probably like it gives you like recommendations what to buy just by your voice. And
Yeah. Oh, that's super cool. Anybody else have like examples or anything?
I think that like Amazon for sure is a big competitive, like if you just think like Amazon has like tech services too. Like I had to do like a computer programming class, and I literally downloaded the Java software from Amazon. Like, you can get more than just like products from Amazon, and they're really taking over. Like if you think of like they kind of beat out Barnes and Noble with the original books like selling online, and now it's like every product you could ever need, every technological service you could ever need, you can get it from Amazon, and it's usually cheaper or free. So they're aware of what their competitors are doing. They're like aware of what Walmart is doing and all those other companies. So I think that Amazon is probably the biggest one, just because I mean they're
absolutely
kind of taking over. Like they're the strongest.
Oh yeah,
force.
Yeah. They're like at the top of the game for sure. Yeah. Have you heard about those? Like they're like the Amazon stores, and you can literally walk in, get all your groceries, and walk out, and it's like already done and paid for.
I went to one of those in Seattle because that's where Amazon headquarters are, and so you just basically you get an app and you scan it when you walk, or you scan it when you walk in, and it's tied to your credit card and your Amazon account. So you just pick up what you want, and then you leave, and it charges you. And then they also have like Amazon stores like 4-star or above, and so like you can go in there and they have not every but like a good selection of like products on Amazon that are like raved about. So like I'm trying to think of something that like everybody wanted to buy off of Amazon. Like they have books and like little like those little frother things, like they have everything in there like that's rated 4 stars or above. So they really know what they're doing in terms of like in-store presence too. And I think they also have like actual grocery stores, like bigger grocery stores with the same concept. Like you put the item in your physical cart and it like checks that you took it off the shelf.
Yeah. I wish we had one of those. That'd be so freaking cool and convenient.
Should I go to like, since we're talking about Amazon, my
your bridge? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, about Amazon.
Yeah.
Okay. So in this article from Investopedia, they said that Amazon has like a personalized recommendation system, and so they use like a comprehensive collaborative filtering engine. And what it does is it analyzes items you've previously purchased, what is in your shopping cart or on your wish list, which products you reviewed and rated, and items you search for the most. And then it will recommend you additional products that other customers purchased when buying those items. So they said, like, give an example, like if you put a movie in your shopping cart, similar movies purchased by other customers are also recommended for you to purchase.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and it said that this method increased, this method generates 35% of the company's annual sales,
Yeah.
which I thought was a pretty big chunk.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then something interesting that like I didn't know about was that if you have like a Kindle or you have the Amazon like Kindle app and you like highlight stuff, and Amazon like regularly reviews the words you've highlighted, and so it will use that to determine what you're interested in learning about, and then it would give you like additional book recommendations.
Yeah.
Also, they use big data for predicting products you're most likely to purchase, which I kind of talked about. Like they determine when you may buy them and where you might need the products.
Yeah.
And then the items are sent to a local distribution center, and they'll be like ready to ship for when you order them. And then so that increases their product sales and it decreases its delivery time and expenses.
Mm-hmm.
And then also Amazon has like a web service, and it's says like Amazon's cloud computing service. It was like introduced 2006, and companies can create scalable big data apps and secure them without using hardware or maintaining infrastructure. And
Yeah.
so some companies benefit it to analyze like customer demographics, spending habits, and like other information to cross-sell products.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
similar to Amazon. So yeah, they have like they're really killing it with
Yeah.
That's so
collecting consumers.
13%. That's
Absolutely.
like a lot, actually.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's incredible. Jeez, Amazon really is killing the game.
I know.
But yeah, looking at the suggestions on Amazon though, like it does get me sometimes. But like I like if I get like shorts or something, they'll recommend me like a top, or like I recently got a planner, and then they recommended me like these pens that could go with the planner. I was like, maybe I do
Okay.
pens.
It like takes you down a rabbit hole. It's bad.
And they add the total for you at the end too, so you just add cart and you
Yeah.
just check out. I was like, oh.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. Okay. My number 5, I said fashion blogging is a major part of the fashion industry in this day and age. How do bloggers use mobile analytics to their advantage? Do you feel like they use custom segmentation in their blogs? Sorry, I love fashion blogging, so I had to throw that in there. I'm obsessed with it.
No.
I think like the main thing is like the influencer marketing thing, so they can put like links in their blogs to a website and they get commission for that. So that's a big thing for companies or like brands or even like things that are just starting out. They can talk about it. And it's also interesting, I've definitely talked about in classes, like the rules for that. You have to like disclose that it's an ad, and you can't use like too small of a font in order to disclose it. Like you have to say like, this is an ad, this is an affiliated link to said product. But they can, obviously do that with their blog posts. But I mean, I'm sure most like bloggers have like a pretty decent social media page as well, that they can do the same thing with.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like, I mean, from my personal experience with bloggers, I feel like they do customer segmentation to an extent. I mean, a lot of them, do advertise like the same stuff and similar stuff. But I also noticed some of them like advertise towards like, petite women, some of them towards plus size women, some of them are more athletic, some of them are more like cutesy. So I kind of think they all have their own little niche. So I think it's like customer segmentation to an extent, but also a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah, I think it would be more like the psychographics of a customer segment, because like if you're like reading a fashion blog and it's like a girl that's like really into workouts, it's probably because you're wanting to do the same thing. So it's very like based off of your lifestyle and like what you're looking for. So like the products that they're recommending and the things that they're talking about, you're likely to also want.
Absolutely. And
Or
that's
if
what I
it
like when they
made
put in their,
them succeed in what they were trying to do, then it'll help you as well.
yeah, yeah, sure. I like when they put in their bios like lifestyle blogger, like travel blogger, or fitness blogger, because then you kind of know like if you're gonna vibe with that blogger. So yeah, I agree with that 100%. Do y'all have, Claire, Christy, do y'all have like experiences with like bloggers?
I don't normally look. I guess I don't know. I guess I just look at Instagram or whatever.
I feel like I'm similar to Claire too. Like I look at Instagram more, but when I find an Instagram like lifestyle influencer or whatever, if I'm really interested and invested, then I will click on their link to their blog or something. Or if I'm trying to figure out certain clothing items or like linked in my blog, then I'll click on it, which is interesting. But I do agree with y'all that there is like customer segmentation for sure. I feel like because like each influencer kind of has their own category in some ways, or what they're into, or maybe their style at least. So like if I follow this person or I'm in their blog, it's usually because I like their style or I connect with, I don't know, or maybe we're similar height or like sizing is similar. So I feel like definitely for sure they have like a target audience, or like example like working out. Like I'll probably check out blogs on like, I don't know, smoothie recipes or something, or like workouts or workout athleisure wear and stuff. And I would probably check out like certain bloggers for those certain things. But
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that like now I've been noticing more stuff on like I've been going more toward TikTok more than Instagram.
Same.
Yeah. For recipes, like outfit, like everything now.
Yeah. For sure. I've even noticed like some of the bloggers that I follow have started using TikTok because they see that people are like gravitating more towards that, so they feel like they kind of have to like jump on that bandwagon. So yeah, for sure. And then on the topic of mobile analytics, I've noticed on some of their profiles they'll talk about like where they see like their traffic coming from, so they can even see like, you know, who is specifically like looking at their content. So I think it's pretty cool that they can actually see like who their main like, you know, market is. Let's see, Kylie, do you want to do another bridge?
Yeah, I can. So the next bridge that I was like looking at is kind of just the idea of like constant innovation in technology and why that's important. So like we were obviously, if you like watched some of the like class videos from earlier where she was talking about all the like social media apps, it's like we don't use MySpace and Vine anymore. They're kind of a thing of the past. So like without that innovation, like they're just not going to make it. And the same thing with like the web analytics mentioned in the chapter. It's like we're not using them as much, but because they're able to continually improve with the segmentation, and there's like A/B testing, which is like you're able to give like customers like, it's like completely random, they get a different site than somebody else and like see which one has the better retention rates. Because it's like a solid foundation and you're able to actually use that information like click rates and stuff, it's still around. But other things like traditional marketing efforts and like things like billboards maybe aren't the biggest thing, or like even telemarketing, like nobody wants that anymore. So it's more so personalizing advertisement and stuff like that. And then also kind of connecting it to classes that we have all taken, like apparel merchandising classes. It's kind of the same thing as like fashion life cycle. Like if it's not going to be like a maintained classic, then it's not going to stay around. So it's like the same kind of ideas, like without continual like innovation and growth and like adding on to what you already have, it's not going to make it much further.
Yep, I 110% agree with you on that one. Christy, I want to see your illustration.
Yes. Okay, I will. Can I share screen? Actually, I feel like that might be a little easier to show me.
Yeah, I think I gave access to everyone to share screen if you need to.
Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, so like I am not the best at drawing, but I try my best.
Oh, me neither.
Okay, so I think on the thing it said to like, so like, what do you guys think when you see the picture? You guys can just all like take turns, maybe what I'm trying to get across, or like just anything, comments, anything.
Let me read the quote.
The quote is from the beginning of the book. I don't know if you guys remember, like the one of the first few pages before the chapter. So.
I guess like your illustration like makes me think of like a person is just like on a website, but the data that the website is collecting like on the person is like, I don't know, just lots of different random stuff about them. I guess like Facebook or something. I don't know. With the I don't know. That's kind of what I think.
Can you give me a hint on what the little things are? Just one.
I was trying to it's just a kind of like just data or like social media, like all the like what chapter 1 has, like all like paid media, earned media, and like all these other like different types of like ways to market, I guess. Those are the boxes.
Yeah. So like are you basically just trying to emphasize that like if you're resistant to change, then like there's going to be no new like innovation?
Yes, pretty much. That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
And then the person at the bottom, I was trying to make the person like kind of like open arms, like accepting or like being
like reaching for new innovations.
Yes, and being open-minded about it, because that quote when I was reading before the book started, I feel like it really like built off how like what our class is about, and like chapter 1 in general. Like it's pretty much like there are all these different ways now to market and to use social media or just other platforms or to like market to target to these audience. And I feel like nowadays like we just keep adding more and more new ways to do that. Example, like I feel like trends are constantly changing, like Kylie was talking about, like at first it's like we had like MySpace and like Tumblr or whatever, but now like no one uses that. So I feel like in order to like be in touch and like know what's trending and like be updated, like you have to be willing to try everything. Example, like TikTok, when it first came out, everyone's like, what, this is a joke, like I'm not going to download TikTok is for like kids, or like it's not, like it's so lame, blah. But like now, like this is like the upcoming social media, like if you don't get on it and if you don't get the trends, you're behind. Like I know like a couple of my friends are like, they're like, oh, I'm too old for TikTok or whatever. Like when we joke about like, I don't know, there's new slang and like new like jokes, like now like they won't get it because they're not on it. I'm like, but you have to be on top of it in order. I don't know, just like it's kind of like YouTubers. I'm sure like you guys follow a bunch of YouTubers. Like I feel like a bunch of them now are trying to hop on TikTok. And then like, but then sometimes you can tell like they're just on TikTok just to be relevant, but they're not necessarily like have the TikTok like personality or whatever. But just example like that, you have to be willing to change. And I feel like a lot of YouTubers that we watched when we were younger, example, like they're slowly aging out, and then they're slowly, their views and subscribers are like slowly going down and decreasing because like, I don't know, now we like different things and we like, I don't know, we're just growing out of that too. So I feel like in order for these influencers or even companies to stay relevant, they have to keep on the trends and stuff. Example, for a clothing brand, Gap, I feel like is a brand that like used to be so big, but they kind of just disappeared for a little bit. But now like Emma Chamberlain is wearing Gap and stuff like that. So I feel like they have the opportunity to bring their brand back if they were to take the opportunity. But pretty much like those are some of the thoughts I had. So I just want to use this picture to like um describe that, like I guess. And but yeah, any thoughts or comments on it?
Agree. Like so many brands and designers are even jumping on TikTok to try and make their brand, stay relevant. And I know, Claire, you're in my case studies class with Dr.
Yeah.
DePilla. And remember, she was saying that, I can't remember his name for the life of me.
Oh, is it? That was a B.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, something guy or something like that. And he used to judge on like, gosh, what's that fashion competition, y'all? I'm blanking. It's,
Oh, I know you're talking about too. I can't think.
he's a judge for some like fashion competition, and he's kind of like, I guess, kind of like an influencer. But Dr. Vito is saying that like Dior is typically like a more mature designer, like you don't see it much on like the youthful crowd. And so like he is younger, and so he was advertising like Dior shoes on TikTok trying to appeal to the younger crowd. And so I thought that was really, really cool.
Yes. Dixie had a I don't know if you guys follow Dixie, but Dixie had a Dior show thing, and she was like promoting it on TikTok as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, have you guys seen? Oh, sorry, Kylie, you go.
Oh, go ahead. All right. I wonder, like, with designer brands like Dior, I've also seen TikToks where people are like, okay, now Dior is overused. Like, the name is overused. They're using too many, like, cheap ways to advertise. And, like, people, like, when you think of, like, high-end fashion brands, you think of, like, high-end, I think of, like, Gossip Girl, like, just bougie walking down the streets. I don't think of Dixie D'Amelio. So like when you put the like TikTok star's name on it, it almost seems like you're cheapening the brand. I feel like that's so mean. Like, I don't mean any harm, but like it's kind of like you are just trying to appeal to younger people, but it's not really like working. Well, it probably is working, but like to an extent, you're like, okay, now the target market that you were already catering to is like, I don't really want Dior anymore. So that's one thing I think with TikTok, but also with TikTok, like in my classes, like marketing and stuff, we've always talked about how social media isn't technically free. Like you can have an account to social media, but it's not like free to provide all that content. But like TikTok is like almost like free advertisements because real people are just posting videos and you don't have to pay them for that unless you request like Dixie D'Amelio, unless you say like, please post an ad about blank, but like it's basically anything can go viral on TikTok. And so I don't know how many times I've seen a video and it's like, I just got this new thing. And then all of the comments are like, great, now it's sold out. Thanks. And so like it can make anything become like super popular and trendy just because one person posted it.
Yeah. I also feel like though, if like Dior's like OG loyal customers like start to see like the younger generation wearing Dior, it might not appeal to them as much because they're like, oh, what was once like ours is now like everyone's. So, yeah, I agree with that. I think TikTok kind of might make it lose its appeal.
I think it's interesting though how like, I don't know, Dixie's going to like all these Dior like fashion shows or whatever, but like her audience is like, I feel like younger people who can't afford Dior.
You can't afford, yeah. She doesn't strike me as like a Dior wearing gal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Very interesting.
Go ahead.
Sorry, but yeah, that's my drawing.
Killed it. I love it. I actually love that a lot. That's great.
Thank you.
Okay. I have one more question. Kylie, Claire, how many more bridges do y'all have? I kind of want to like separate it evenly for all of us.
I have one, I think.
Okay, Claire, how many?
One, basically, yeah. Like,
Okay, so do y'all want me to, like, I can ask my question and then Kylie goes and then Claire goes?
Sure.
Okay, so my last question is, what is the difference between social media reporting, user experience feedback, and real-time site analytics? And where do we see these most commonly used? Also, if y'all need me to repeat anything, like don't hesitate to ask. Social media reporting, user experience feedback, and real-time site analytics.
Well, I know real-time site analytics is exactly what it says. Like it's real time, like you can see how many people are on your site, what they're clicking on, and what they're doing. So you can make real-time decisions and you can see what, like if somebody were to do like a launch for some product, you can see like real time how many people are on your site waiting for this to launch and things like that. User experience feedback is more so like, I think of like live chat. That's what I think of. I think user experience feedback, because you're like talking to someone and then they're like, how was your experience with blank? Like, please rate your experience. So that kind of is what I think of with user experience feedback. And then like social media reporting is just kind of like obviously social media and like what people are engaging with.
Right. And I feel like that kind of plays back into bloggers.
Yeah.
I also, let's see, what did I say? Where do we see these most commonly used? So I feel like social media reporting, obviously social media and like bloggers. I think, bloggers is really where we see social media reporting most common. User experience feedback, honestly, when I see that, I think, like live chat. I also think of just like customer reviews in general, because that's just like so prominent today, and people rely so hard on reviews. Like I know when I'm like on Amazon or whatever, like I'm always like going to the reviews first thing, because if I see one person say like, oh, it's a cheap piece of crap, I'm like, next product. Like we rely so hard on that.
Something interesting, since you brought up Amazon reviews, was that I have gotten like products in the mail from Amazon, and they're like, if you rate us 5 stars and give us a good review, we'll give you like a month, like a voucher, or we'll send
I was about to bring that up too. Yeah.
And it's I'm like, so now I don't know if I can trust.
You can trust reviews. Oh my god.
True.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's definitely really big though. I don't think I would buy an item if there are 0 reviews. I usually just skip. So
Oh yeah, for sure. Same. Yeah. Okay, Kylie or Claire, which one of y'all wants to do y'all's bridge?
I guess I can talk about mine. One of your questions was about the competitive intelligence. So with like the courses that we've taken, I'm sure probably most of you or all of you, if not, maybe we were all in the same class. I don't even remember the buying class. I think like with that, it's like really comparable to like competitive shopping. So like you go into different stores and like try to figure out what's like doing well in their stores so you can buy similar or things like that. I feel like that's a pretty big, like easy, like way to remember competitive intelligence, because it's like basically running performance tests on other sites and like what is working for them that you can change in your like user design to make it more easy to use, or like maybe it's social media, like other people are commenting a bunch of stuff on this post, but like nobody's commenting on ours. How can we make it more engaging? So that is kind of like the connection, I guess, with like the course bridge builder that I was seeing there. And like it's basically makes it easier to make decisions. Like you can take what you see here to make further decisions, because it's like harder to make those decisions without knowing like what's working for other people or other companies.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. All right, Claire, let's see what you got.
Okay, so it's said to like relate something more indirectly. So current thing, or I don't know, event or whatever that's going on. So like is COVID tracking technology. And so according to CNBC, 10 states have published these COVID apps, and using technology from Apple, from the Apple-Google partnership. And so what these apps do is they will provide push alerts to any users who come in close contact with another app user who tested positive for COVID. And then users will also use the apps to alert everyone they were near that they tested positive without revealing their name or phone number. So it says it helps with contact tracing, but people still have privacy concerns. And then the article stated that every phone with a COVID alert app sends out Bluetooth low energy signals to detect if two people were close together for an extended period of time. Each day, each phone in the system downloads a list of anonymous tokens corresponding to positive tests and compares them with tokens on the phone collected when the user was near another person for a certain period of time. So they gave an example, like for instance, New York marks an exposure when two people were 6 feet apart for 10 minutes. But something that I think is kind of like, I don't know if this app is going to work well, is it only works if people are truthful about their COVID tests. So I feel like, I don't know, I could see a lot of people not being truthful and then like the app not.
Everything just going wrong. Yeah.
But
wow. Yeah. That's really cool. I mean, I think it would be really effective if people were honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I guess overall, I was like, will there ever be a point when like all this tracking of consumer data will be like dangerous? Like if they know too much about everyone, and then like what could happen if like our information gets in the wrong hands?
Yeah.
And then I was like, I think like if 20 years ago we knew how much information companies have on us today, like I feel like we'd be like frightened. So then it makes me think like 20 years from now, like it's just gonna, I feel like they're gonna know 10 times more about us. And especially since like, I don't know, a lot of like smart appliances are like coming out, and I know people are, or companies are talking about making like clothing like connected to the internet.
Yeah.
So I don't know, there's just crazy ways that, and new ways people are collecting our data.
Literally with all of the information they have on us now, I can't even imagine like 20, 30 years from now, we're going to have like freaking clones. Like it's so insane and so scary.
Yeah, no, I know. But yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, I've asked all of my questions, guys. I think so. Kylie, Claire, y'all have done all of y'all's bridges, and Christie, we saw your art, which was really cool. So are we good? Anything anybody want to say before we sign out?
I don't think I have anything.
I think we had a pretty cool discussion.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I learned some stuff.
I know.
All right, well, all right, I guess we're done, guys. Okay.